Hello everyone, welcome to Snow Goose News Station. My name is Janie and I'll be your host today. For today's show, we're pleased to have Ms. Karin Kirkpatrick from the BC Liberals here to discuss her current action on removing the Restrictive Covenant GB 8977 from 1956. Hello, Ms. Kirkpatrick.
I'm Karin Kirkpatrick, and I'm the MLA for West Vancouver Capilano. And I'm also the official opposition critic for education, childcare, and MCFD.
The Restrictive Covenant has been an ongoing issue, and this is not the first time that someone has initiated a petition on it. May I ask why it took so long to be taken seriously?
The first I heard about this was about a year and a half ago when I was first elected in West Vancouver Capilano. I know that there had been conversations ongoing, but I think there's been confusion about what tools we actually have to be able to use to remove these restrictive covenants. So I think now is just the time. The province is committed to anti-racism. We're seeing legislation coming forward to support that. There's been that spike in Asian hate crimes. Now is the time that we need to address something like this, and that's why we're bringing it forward now.
Do you have any experience on racism?
My daughter is Chinese and I adopted her in China. And so I do think that sometimes as a non-Asian person, I can have a bit of a unique perspective in terms of through her eyes. So when I first heard about this covenant, I actually asked her how she felt about it. One of the options is that they can just cross it off of the title. So it's still on the title and you can still read it, but it's crossed off. So I said to her, how do you feel about that? And she said, that's not enough. She was upset and it's hurtful and it needs to be gone altogether. So I don't know that that's my experience with racism, but I certainly through her eyes can understand the hurtful nature of that and why it's important to get rid of it.
When the Restrictive Covenant first came aware to the community, we were told that it does not have any legal effect, but it still exists in the documents. To me, this feels a lot like how people were talking and posting about anti-hate crimes on social media, but not many concrete effort has been done. What is your thought on it?
I think the fact that it's not legal, it can't be enforced, I mean, obviously that's one thing. And there's always an argument about should we leave things like this? Should we leave statues up because they remind us of this colonial history that we have? But that's not good enough, and it needs to be completely removed, whether it's enforceable or it's not enforceable. The fact that it's sitting there and people read it and our kids read it, it's hurtful and there's no place for that. And it actually feeds into, racism and hatred.
Aside from removing the Restrictive Covenant, do you and the BC Liberals have any further plans on anti-racism in the province?
Well, absolutely. We've got our MLA in Richmond, Teresa Watt, who is absolutely committed to this. She's leading the file on this. We've brought policy ideas forward. She's done a lot of work advocating with government for actual true work that we can do to actually not just talk about it, but actually make change. She's very active also in the Chinatown community. And I think that's a bit of the epicenter of where we're seeing a lot of racism and a lot of an undervaluing of a community that is just such an important part of the history of BC. So in terms of specific policies, the BC Liberals, I don't have a specific policy other than to know that we have to look at everything through the lens of whether it is whether it's racist, whether it is something that's inclusive, and anything we look at has to be dealt with in that way.
Thank you for joining us today. We're very honored to have you.
Thank you very much. It's really nice to meet you.